Hello, what is up guys? GHOS-TLYH-ALLO-WEEN here today, back with another Black Desert video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the most recent patch that came to Black Desert on November 1st of 2023, going over all the events, as well as major changes that came with the patch, and that way you don't miss a thing. This week's patch brings the much anticipated Alchemy rework, or changes, or tweaks, or whatever you want to call that one, as well as a ton of cool life scaling events if you're into gathering, plus a couple of little tweaks and stuff along the way. So yeah, quickly before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, new to Black Desert, or you've been watching videos on the channel and still have not subscribed yet, please consider it. Helps to grow my channel, you stay up to date with new content, and we both win. And without further ado, let's get into it and start off with the events like we do every single week. And first up on our events page here, we have a bunch of EXP boosts that are running from now until November 8th, as well as a bunch of login rewards running for the next couple of weeks as well here. So a ton of free stuff here just for logging into the game. You can see these EXP boosts in game by looking at the top of your screen. You'll see the 500% combat EXP, 200% skill EXP, and then later on you'll also see that we have a 50% life EXP buff running right now, plus a 50% drop rate. So anything you want to do in Black Desert right now, getting bonuses for that. Again, we also have additional login rewards here. Escape key on the keyboard, reward, login rewards. You will see the Asian Node Wards rewards here that are available, plus a Halloween special, loyal, and guild rewards that are all still running right now in game. Now, the final two events that came with this patch are both targeted around life skilling, and honestly, it's going to make gathering absolutely mental for the next couple of weeks here, but just to go through them. First of all, 50% EXP buff to all life skills except for trading. This is pretty typical. Pretty solid buff right there if you're trying to do some power leveling in your cooking, gathering, hunting, anything you want to try and power level right now. 50% bonus EXP. Next up, while you're out gathering, you're going to obtain these little shining host seals. These can be exchanged with the NPC Zyra for a bunch of different stuff, including 300 crown stones, EXP scrolls, bonus contribution EXP, which is fantastic. That's a pretty hefty exchange right there for these little seals, plus Manos items as well. Like, this is really awesome exchanges while you're out gathering. Like, really friggin' awesome. Third, we have login rewards for gathering gear if you don't have any to get started with your gathering adventure. So if you haven't done any of those gathering type things before, you can get started with them. And then the fourth one, and probably one of the biggest ones right here, is this double gathering minigame procking even more here. So the times 10 gather minigame proc rate will be doubled. Now, I don't know how many of you watch my live streams over here, but every weekend for the last couple of weekends here, I've been trying to see how busted I can make this gathering minigame and maxing out my income. And as you can see, I am almost at the 1 billion silver per hour right now on gathering, so I think this is going to push it over the top. Absolutely mental buff. Like I said, this is just an all-around insane series of events and buffs here for those that gather, and it gets even more insane when we look at the patch notes. But, again, the second event that's going on here for gathering is while you're out gathering, a Shy may spawn. If you interact with a Shy, you'll have a book that you can obtain that gives you 20% more life EXP, plus additional life skill mastery and a weight limit increase, which is pretty nutty. This is going to go away after the update at the end of the month. However, for the whole month, if you get one of these early, you can have some awesome bonuses while you're out playing the game for life skillers. You can also exchange 3 energy with that NPC, the little Shy that'll spawn, in order to get bonus drop rate while you're out gathering. Gathering speed doesn't really matter for most people out gathering, but hey, it's there if you don't have it. You'll also get this pouch, and the pouch has a bunch of different random items in it as well. But yeah, just an hour buff with a 10% drop rate to your item drop rate as well. So, like, yeah, fantastic series of events if you're a gatherer. Like, I'm excited to try it out this weekend and see how much I can rack in. So do be sure to check me out over here on Twitch, twitch.tv/evildousarm. Now that's it for events, but one more thing I want to point out before we go on into the actual patch notes themselves. We have a bunch of codes that are active in Black Desert right now because of the Asian Championships that are running. They're active for another week, so you have 7 days to claim these. They're all on Garmoth.com. Fantastic website. If you don't have it bookmarked, you totally should. I'll put them all in the description below, but again, keep Garmoth bookmarked so you can stay up to date with these. We have like 700 crown stones, 1,000 loyalties, tons of upgrade and enhancement items. Like, definitely redeem these codes. Again, link down below. If you don't know how to do it, you just click that, copy it, go to escape key, adventure support, redeem coupon code, copy paste it, hit use, and it'll show up in your B menu, which is right here. So you can redeem the items from here. Also, one more thing to point out before we get into the actual patch notes themselves, Pearl Shop, Black Spirits Pick, Silver Event items for another week also has some bonus items in here, including 100 crown stones. So some nice stuff from these rewards. Just make sure to claim both of these as well. They're only 100 silver. Super awesome there. But now we can move on into the patch notes themselves, since we're through all the event type stuff and random things, and we're going to start right off with what I clickbaited you with at the start, Alchemy life skill rework. We got an essay about how they're going to try and make it better by adding more availability to resources. So first things first, the trace items that are obtained from nodes have an increased rate at which they will drop from the nodes. So you'll be able to harvest these faster with your worker empires, and allow you to do more alchemy or make more money if you're just selling the stuff on the central marketplace. Next, there's going to be a series of bonus quests that you can do every single day by making various bloods and turning them into NPCs. The NPCs are going to reward you with a bunch of traces, which you can then use for additional crafting recipes and whatnot. Keeping in the theme of making traces more available, we are going to have traces available from gathering, so each of the different types of gathering is going to drop a different trace. So if you're doing alchemy and need to farm out a specific trace, you can do that through a specific type of gathering, which is super awesome. And then this change is also what's going to help to push gathering up and over the top here as far as income per hour. It's going to be absolutely mental for this patch period right now. So you're getting rid of the trade items that went for no money and took up a ton of weight in your inventory, and you're exchanging them for something that's worth like 10 times as much silver. Like, no-brainer, insane little buff right there to this. Moving on further, saps are getting a buff, so those of you without doing sap gathering, the rate at which you obtain them has increased, so the basic drop goes from 2 to 4 to 3 to 5, which means that you're up about 25 to 33% depending on your drops for total sap you're going to gain per hour, which is absolutely insane if you're trying to do gathering and making money off of sap collecting, especially with the minigame that's available right now. Like, you get where all this is going. Insane stuff dropping from all these things. Additionally, the nodes that have these saps available at them are going to drop at higher rates as well. So production nodes increase the amount of stuff that they give you, which is cool. More money from your node network giving you passive stuff, or if you're an alchemist, more resources available to you there. Additionally, while you're out sap gathering, you also have the chance to spawn a Faru, just like if you're out grinding, and killing a Faru will give you bonus items as well. So that's traces and saps being made more available and readily accessible for gamers. And next up, we have the fruit items in Alchemy. So the fruit items are going to have different ways to obtain them through the use of mysterious seeds that allow you to get more fruits for them. You're also going to get more fruits from plant breeding. And in all types of gathering, the rate for those has been increased by 1.7x, so a lot more fruits available to you while out playing. Hopefully that helps to ease the fruit economy for Alchemy. Next up, we have the various powders that you need, so Powders Flame, Rifts, Earth Time, and Shining Powder can be obtained by exchanging the Mysterious Catalyst byproduct. It's a nice new way to obtain those things, and then moving on a little bit further still, the byproducts that you get from Alchemy, the random procs that give you your value, we've removed a bunch of the crap ones that aren't worth anything, and instead added more valuable items that are available there to make a little bit more money while you're out doing your alchemy work. Now you're going to see an interesting item listed there if you're reading this as fast as I'm talking through it, the Unknown Seed. And the Unknown Seed is used to increase the amount of truffle mushrooms that you can pick up. So truffle mushrooms are an item that you have to gather for alchemy that require you to run around through different caves, making it a little easier now by making it a seed that you can get and grow into these truffle mushrooms. So pretty nice little buff there. You can see the changes to the pricing of these various mushroom seeds and whatnot here as well if you wanted to have value for those. Further still in the alchemy improvements here, we have various items that typically weren't available for trade now listed on the central market, so those of you that are out grinding now get some extra value from these random drops, and if you're an alchemist you don't have to go grinding to pick up these items, you can now purchase them off the central marketplace. Everlasting herbs are going to obtain with a 30% greater rate. Blue whale oil has been added to the drop table for a bunch of different mobs that you can fight out in the ocean content, so new mobs that have it added to them, pretty cool. And coral crystals now drop at a higher rate as well for alchemy. Griffin claws drop more readily now from different griffin bosses. There's a new snowfield cedar tree farming location here available for you for those of you trying to gather the sap for those. And the value of a ton of the different elixirs for alchemy have had their actual base prices increased. Some of them pretty insanely, like that's a 5x increase there, a little over 5x increase there. Pretty nutty improvements to a lot of these prices. Some of them also got really nice ones. I mean, look at that one. It's up like 15x pricing. So if you do alchemy, you now have a higher profitability available for it there as well if you're selling to the central market. So yeah, all in all, a ton of changes and improvements to alchemy. I guess I might have misspoke a little bit at the start saying it was a rework, but definitely a lot of improvements to the way that you perform your alchemy, so I hope you don't flag me for clickbait on that one. Now there is one more footnote in their little essay at the start. Once a certain level of stabilization has been achieved, plan to make adjustments to Imperial Delivery. So I guess depending on where those prices of things settle, and if Imperial Delivery is super unprofitable, they'll plan to make some adjustments to the frequencies or prices or something in that. Don't know exactly, but it is a footnote that they're going to be looking at Imperial Delivery, so those of you that are concerned about your Imperial Delivery, something to keep in mind. Maybe they'll make some changes to that as well in the future. Now, we are through all of the Alchemy patch note stuff, so now let's move on into the next section here. And the next section, the most important stuff here, starts in the items category. If you have the Laffy Bed Mountains Upgraded Telescope or a Cordalo Sanctuary, you can obtain an item that allows you to show them off in your house, essentially. So something to look out for. There's a little quest line on that. Low-level monster zones, Basham Base, Desert Naga Temple, Crescent Shrine, Road Sulphur Mine, and Pila Cool Jail have all had the number of mobs increase in those locations, so there's more stuff to kill in those regions, which may increase your income and EXP per hour at those spots. Continuing along with grinding changes, we have improvements to a bunch of grinding zones that weren't performing as well as other spots, so Giffen Razia Temple, Ash Forest, Olin's Valley, Quinton Hill, Altar Imps, and City of the Dead have all had improvements. So there are tables and drops and loots and stuff that you can obtain from them to help improve their overall income. Mirrormonk Destroyer Offense had its HP increased by 50%. We have some tweaks to the background world in Black Desert to make it a little easier to traverse it, so removing random stuff from the ground. We have some UI changes that allow you to rename your pet groups now, so under the pet menu, if you open it up, you should be able to click on a pet group and rename it to whatever you want. So this can be my grinding group, and now if you hover over any of those, you'll see what they're called when you hover over it. So that's pretty cool little feature change, I guess, to help you identify which pet group you want to use in case you ever forget. The automatically used sprint button will remain checked whenever you get off of your horse until you next relog into the game. The crystal preset menu here is no longer accessed through the Black Spirit, it's accessed under your inventory panel. So if you go ahead into your inventory iKey keyboard here, you will see the transfusion tab and it brings up a new set of presets. You can thumb through them here without having to go to the Black Spirit. Pretty nice right there. If you click the little satchel in the bottom corner, you'll see the typical menu that you're used to here for entering in your crystals, adding them and whatnot to your different presets. Easier to swap between them. You just click on it and you click apply. So pretty nice little nifty improvement feature there. I'm much happier with that UI feature there. Pretty nice there. Special effect for bartering windows and a special barter occurs has been added to make it easier to pick those out. And then other than that, we have no more major changes. So like I said, this patch is pretty awesome. A lot of stuff in it, a lot of awesome changes and improvements. Now's your turn to let me know what you think down in the comments down below. You excited for it? Excited for Alchemy? Gonna get back into it? Excited to try and make more money off gathering? Let me know down there. I know I'm super stoked for this patch. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Look forward to seeing you at the next YouTube video, the next Twitch live stream, or wherever I happen to see you. Peace.